How's it going, guys? This is Andres with the Graphics Shack. In this video, we're going to learn the process I use to register a 2-color print. Without the registration marks, this is the way I register my jobs, and hopefully it helps you out. Let's get to it. Before we get to the video, just do me one quick favor, guys. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Let's get to it. Alright, guys, like I said, we're going to be registering a 2-color print today the easy way. The way I do it here at the shack. No registration marks needed. Here we go. These are the screens we got. We're going to be printing 2 colors. Both screens are 110 mesh. This is the gray layer. This will be the blue layer. Let's get to it, baby. Let's do it. All right, guys, we got our screens on the press. Now, first things first, before we do any printing, we got to make sure that we set our off contact so it's nice and crisp. I know we talked about off contact in the last video, but like I said, we're printing 2 colors, and if we're going to print 2 colors without registration marks, it's absolutely vital that we get good off contact. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. Maybe impossible to get everything lined up if we don't have proper off contact. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, we're here at the screen. Let me show you real quick the difference between good off contact and bad off contact. So this is what I would consider good off contact, proper off contact. It's about 1/8 of an inch. Let me bring you in so I can show you. This is the platen right here. This is the screen. There's a little bit of a gap between the screen and the actual platen. If we go in closer, this is what we're looking for right here. Look, it's just a little bit of a bounce. As soon as the screen touches the platen, it pops right back up. There's not enough room for my finger to get stuck in there, right? Now, let me show you what improper off contact or bad off contact or too much off contact. Okay, so now I have this screen here, and this is not good off contact. This is way too much. So not having enough off contact is equally as bad as having too much off contact. Your ink is not going to be pressed onto the shirt the way that we need it if you have too much or too little off contact. Let me show you what I mean by too much off contact here. So as you guys can see, there's an obvious gap between the screen and the platen. See my fingers? I can almost fit both of them. See that? That's way too much off contact. I'm pushing down like that. I'm pushing down, and it's just tougher to do. So if you have something like this, your prints are not going to be as crisp and clean as we need them. Make sure we get proper off contact. Let's go ahead and get that going. All right, guys, so here we go. What I've done is I've loosened up this bracket or the head on the press, loosened up the angle, the up and down angle, and I've also loosened the up and down vertical adjustment. So everything is loose, completely loose. Now what I have to help me with the off contact, as you guys saw in the other video, is a chloroplast plastic little board. It's like a cardboard, and I will stick this underneath the screen here like that, and I will let the screen just sit on it. So the reason that I use this board is because it's approximately the thickness that we need, about 1/8 of an inch for the off contact. Now that we have the board on there, the screen is resting on there nicely. We're gonna move this up and down, forward, backward, just to get it nice and flat on the board. Once we have that all nice and set, nice and flat, we go ahead and tighten everything up, and we'll be ready to go to the next phase. Let's go. All right, guys, so we got our off contact all set up. We got the screen on the press. We lined it up on the palette. All we did for that is just very basic. We have a center line on the palette. We just measure the center of the design, get that screen centered right in the center of the palette. And now that we have that, it's time to add some ink so we can print a test print before we actually hit the actual hoodies that we're going to be printing. Now, these are the colors we're going to be using today. It's light blue and a light gray, both of which I got from my local supplier here in San Diego, McLogan Supply. I believe they have another another warehouse in LA. So if you're in the LA area, check them out as well. I did reach out to McLogan. As you guys know, our channel here is pretty small, so I by no means do I meet their actual requirements for affiliate. But you know, I said, you know what, let me just reach out to them and see what they can do for you guys. Very excited to say that they did provide us with a discount code. So they're gonna hook you guys up with free shipping. No minimum order required. Try them out. Let me know what you guys think. Use that code, THEGRAFFIXSHACK, at checkout, and they will hook you up with free shipping. On to the video. The way we're gonna set this up is we're gonna print the biggest part of the design first, which in this case will be the light gray. It's the storm part. We'll print that on the test pellet, flash it, we'll bring it back around, and we'll use that to guide us in registering the second screen, which is the blue screen. So let's get this bad boy printed. Let's see how it goes. All right. All right, beautiful. Look at that. So this is the gray layer. We're gonna flash this just to dry it enough so that we can use the same print to register the blue layer. Okay, perfect. As you guys can see, this is dry to the touch. We've already flashed it. This is the first layer. Now that this is dry, we're gonna go ahead and bring in the second layer, which is the blue layer. Hopefully you guys can see this good on the camera. I don't know if you guys can see like a little bit of white space right in here. So that means we're not registered. If we were perfectly registered, we wouldn't see any of this white space. So that's what we're gonna look for. Now this method that we're using without any registration marks is good for any simple graphics that you're gonna be printing that don't require exact registration. So this one, on a side note, when I created this artwork, the gray layer actually goes on top of the blue layer. But because the gray layer is the bigger layer, we're using that layer to guide us in lining the blue layer up. So that being said, the gray layer is just a tad bit, a couple pixels wider than the blue layer, which will give us a little bit of a cushion when we do go to register this job. So we have a little bit of a cushion. It does not have to be on the nuts. It doesn't have to be so perfect because we have a little bit of a cushion on the gray layer. All right, so how do we do this? So as you guys can see all the white area, right? So the white area means that we are not registered. So all we gotta do is just basically look at our screen and line it up until we don't see any of the gray areas. And as you guys can see right here, I can't adjust anymore. So what that means is I have to move my actual screen back a little bit. So let's do that a little bit. Okay, so the idea here is to get rid of as much of this white as we possibly can. Now, before we proceed, it's good to know that in my particular case, the gray layer, I purposely made the gray layer a couple pixels, I think it was 2 or 3 pixels wider, so that in the event that I didn't get perfect registration, the extra couple pixels I added would cover those little holes and it wouldn't be noticeable. So if you have your artwork where it's perfectly butt to butt, line to line, it's going to be tough to get unless you have registration marks. So here we go. All we're going to do is basically try to get as little of the white area as possible. The white area is actually the gray layer, but like I said, I purposely made the gray layer a little bit wider so that it wouldn't be a big issue. It wouldn't take too much time to register this guy. And I believe this is pretty much perfect right here. This is good. I like this. I'm happy with this. We're gonna go ahead and tighten this up. We'll print a sample and we'll see how that looks. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and add some ink, print the sample, and see how it turns out. All right, time to see if we got this registration good to go or if it's back to the drawing board. Let's flood this bad boy. Print it. It's time to see. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and flash it. We'll come back and we'll hit the real deal. Okay, these are dry to the touch. Let me move the screen so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. Mamma mia, that looks beautiful. All right, let's turn it around and see what we're dealing with. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Guys, this is a simple 2-color print, easy setup, easy registration. We don't need the registration marks. This is called a test Pellon, P-E-L-L-O-N, test Pellon. And I use these to print a sample just to make sure everything is lined up, everything is looking good before we actually print the actual item, you know. These you guys can get from my guys over at McLogan. Again, use that discount code, THEGRAFFIXSHACK. They'll hook you up with free shipping. Here we go, guys. Ready to hit the real deal. Looking good to me. Let me know what you think. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit the real deal now. I know earlier I did say it was black hoodies, but we're actually printing on navy hoodies, which I'm actually excited to see with these colors. Let's go ahead and hit the first color. This is the blue. Woo! Look at that, look at that. I love it. Light blue on a navy colored hoodie. We're gonna send it over to the flash real quick. We're gonna flash it for roughly 8 seconds, 10 seconds at the most. And it all depends really on what equipment you're using and what your flash dryer is set at. For us, 8 seconds seems to work fine. All we're looking for is the ink to be dry to the touch. Let me move the screen so you guys can see. This is perfectly good. As you guys can see, dry to the touch means that if you touch the ink, you're not going to get any transfer onto your hand. If you do have ink on your hand after you touch it, it means you need to hit it for a little bit longer. Okay, now this is flashed. Perfect. Now we're going to add the second color, which is the gray color. Let's see how that turns out. As you guys know, I like to push as opposed to pulling, and for me it's just easier. Okay guys, let's see what this looks like. Wow, look at that. Let me move the screen so you guys can see it. That looks beautiful, guys. Light gray, light blue on a navy. Let's send it over to the flash. And I know this is just a 2-color. There is no need to flash it again, but for me, I like to flash it just a little bit before we actually pull it off of the palette, because sometimes you're prone to making mistakes. So sometimes if you fumble it, you may smear the ink. So we want to avoid that. Now that we've flashed it, no ink is on our hand. We're safe to handle this garment. We can pull it up and that way we get some air underneath. Okay, so this is already flashed. I've lifted it up. And now we're gonna send it over for a full cure and we're gonna finish this order off. We'll be right back. All right guys, that is it for today. Got this order knocked out. Let me show you the finished product. Voila. Beautiful, right? Light gray, light blue on a navy colored hoodie. I know you guys are gonna ask what type of hoodies I used. And for me, when I use hoodies, I like to use the Independent Trading. Let me see if the camera will pick that up for you guys. Independent Trading Company is the brand I like. This is an 80-20 blend. I love these hoodies. They're super soft, very high quality, and as you guys can see, easy to print on. Guys, that is it for today. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you guys register your multicolored jobs. Did this make sense to you guys? Did this help? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. I would like to hear your thoughts. What else should I cover? Guys, have a good day. Any questions, let me know. I'm here to help.